Do you, Neal Thomas Lattimore, by your own choice, freely enter into the union of marriage today with Sophia Zainab Abdallah?
I do.
Do you, Sophia Zainab Abdallah, by your own choice, freely enter into the union of marriage today with Neal Thomas Lattimore? I do. Excellent.
I promise to be open, honest, loyal and faithful. I promise to let go of the little things and laugh often. I promise to never go to sleep on an argument. I promise to always be your number one fan and have your best interests at heart. And I promise to love you forever and always.
I promise to be open, honest, loyal and faithful. I promise to let go of the little things and laugh often. I promise to never go to sleep on an argument. I promise to always be your number one fan. And have your best interests at heart. I promise to love you forever and always.
Husband and wife. Stand now, please. Put your hands together. And Mrs. Lattimore, take us.
afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm going to kick off the speeches today. The bride doesn't typically do a speech, but there were some things that I really wanted to say. Having said that, I had to take some perks out of doing the majority of the planning and schedule my speech in first so that I didn't get as nervous. I want to start by thanking you all for coming. I know it was an early start, but we wanted to enjoy every minute of this day with you all. We've waited long enough, so thought we'd drag it out as long as possible. It's amazing to have all of our favourite people in one place for us, and we appreciate it so much. Neal will cover the thank yous in his speech, but some people need extra thanks. So to kick off, I have to say thank you to Alan and Julia for this beautiful setting. Your kindness and generosity has allowed us to have the most perfect wedding at a beautiful venue, and we can't thank you enough. Beyond that, you employed me as a teenager and always made sure I got a vodka Diet Coke at the end of my shift. And you let us stay in your apartment in Mallorca, which we'll come on to a bit later, and hosted lots of great parties. So cheers to Alan and Julia. Thank you very much. Thank you to Denise and Bodie for welcoming me into your family. You're two of the most selfless people I've ever met. You always made me feel comfortable in your home, made sure there were plenty of my favourite snacks and bottles of Prosecco, and have helped us out hugely through the years, whether that be picking us up from nights out, helping us move house, or offering us advice. Thank you very much for your help with the wedding and for raising such a wonderful man that turned out to be my best friend in the world. It's also their wedding anniversary today, so happy anniversary.
39 years!
Thank you to my mum and dad for showing me all the amazing possibilities and opportunities in life, making us the most well-travelled children at our school, and for being the most fun, open, generous and kind people that you could meet. Thank you to Stefan for being my partner in crime for many years, my little big brother. I'm so proud of what you achieved, even if you are the most unorganised person I've ever met. In all seriousness, I couldn't have tackled our childhood without you. And whilst I've got the room though, if he ever tries to tell you that I threw a bottle of hairspray at him in a hotel room in Barcelona, it is a lie. Cheers to the Abdullahs and the Lawmans, the doctors and the nurses keeping us fit and healthy, and the farmers keeping food on our tables. I might be leaving you in name, but you won't get rid of me that easily. After precisely 2 days of teaching, I realised that I wasn't built for a life of service to others, so you're all true legends to me. Thank you to Steve, our best man, for all the help with the wedding and for all the laughs. You were there for all the official club nights, have always guided Neal along the right path mostly. And you and Becky have brought our gorgeous nephews Arthur and Reuben into the world, and so much happiness into the family along with it. Thank you to Dave for helping us out and for helping Steve out on the day, and also all the DIY help we've had from you. It's definitely the best thing about moving to Stamford. To my maid of honour, Faye, you're beautiful inside and out. I have to start by saying thank you for the most amazing hen weekend, the hostess with the mostess. So hens, let's give it up for Faye for that amazing weekend. Thank you for letting me into your Lattimore crew and for all the fun memories that we've made together. You've always been the sister I never had, but now we really are finally sisters.
Officially sisters.
I knew we'd get along well when me and Neal took you away on holiday. We found you drinking on the beach. But instead of taking you back to the apartment, we took you out and supplied even more Spanish cocktails. When I say Neal, you say boring. He's not boring, really. He just had to look after us.
I don't know, he kind of is.
Thank you, Toe, for doing the bar, and thank you to George for getting us to the church on time, early actually. And thank you to everyone who's made today what it is. It really does mean the world. Now on to the main man.
Nearly off.
Neal, my childhood sweetheart, and now my husband on our wedding day. It's taken us 18 years to arrive at this point, but from very early on, I knew that you were my person. Some say we're late to this marriage party, but I'd say we've been living our best lives, and I wouldn't do a thing differently. We met thanks to certain friends, with the help of MSN Messenger, dial-up internet, progressing to the ultimate teenage first date, a film at the Showcase Cinema.
And I should have known what type of family I was getting myself into when after our first date, Denise and Pam were sat outside waiting for us and tucking into suckers waiting to get all the gossip. On the second date, I met the whole family. The cousins just kept on coming. I remember meeting Julia and Alan, Brad and Hayden, who were just children. Little did I know we'd be getting married in their garden a few years later. You have been the constant in my life, my unfaltering support, my absolute best friend. In the run-up to the wedding, I listened to a lot of Jamie Lang's podcast called Nearly Weds, and his other podcast, Private Parts, is another favourite of mine and Lucy. He says a lot of crap, but in his wedding speech, he said, to find true love, you must first find a true friend, and I couldn't agree more with this one. I love how open you are to other cultures, how adventurous you've become with food and travel, and how understanding and kind you are to everyone you meet. On top of that, you have my best interest at heart, and I trust you to look after me and look out for me all the time. I'm a tough shell with a very soft centre, and you know exactly how to support me, whilst also letting me feel like a strong, independent woman. You put me in my place when required and understand what I need in every situation, and I feel like the luckiest girl alive to have met you first. We've grown up and adapted together, never expecting, never pressuring, never planning too far into the future, and never following the crowd. We were just enjoying our amazing thing while it lasted. Naturally, this has meant that we've been there for a lot of first and bucket list moments. From first nights out at Keyhole Cates to skydiving, festivals and holidays. My best memories are all with you, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Now it's time to look forward to the memories that we haven't met yet. Once again, we embark on a new chapter together, and I can't wait to see what this one brings. I hope we love deep, laugh hard, experience life to the fullest, and continue to support each other the way we've learned how to do so well. I never want to lose sight of those kids who just loved each other's company and were always planning their next adventure. I hope this one called marriage is our best one yet. I hope you all have the most amazing day, dance, eat, enjoy, and cheers. Now to pass over to my dad, who has not written anything down.
If I wrote anything down, I would be scrapping it all now. How do you follow that? My little girl, she knows how to speak, and she knows how to entertain. My little girl knows how to say thank you to you all, and we have had a wonderful day already. I must say, after a few days of no sunshine and terrible weather, we have had a wonderful day today with a lot of sunshine, and I hear tomorrow is not going to be so sunny. This is not, however, any sunshine. This is the god Ra, the sun god of Egypt himself, has come with his grace and divinity to entertain us on this day for the sake of my little girl.
Here, here.
I remember a friend of mine who was older than me saying, "You don't know love until you gaze on your firstborn's face." And he was right. Sophie was born at 15, 16 on the 20th of April, and my life was changed forever. It was turned upside down. I don't want to lose at this moment something to be said about my other child, because he also is very special. But this day firmly belongs to my little girl, Sophie. Sophie always was a hard shell with a soft center. But you didn't need to ask her to look after you twice. I remember I went to America, to San Francisco, to attend my best friend's wedding. And I took her with me, and she was 6 years old. Mom stayed behind to look after Stefan because she did not wish him on an aeroplane load of people. At the time. Of course, he is different now. But when we arrived in America, 6-year-old Sophie took on the role of looking after me. I will never forget that. She looked after the packing, she looked after the unpacking, she looked after the programs, and she looked after me. Something I will never forget. 18 years ago, I met a puny but tall, I would even say very tall if you look at me. Very tall and handsome man.
Woo!
I probably would have hoped for him to be part of my family. That was 18 years ago, and he came into my family, and I knew he would do very well, because when we went out for a meal together in an Indian restaurant, my daughter gave him the menu, and he looked at it, and then she said, "And you will have the chicken korma, and you will like it." And this has been very much the order of the day. But that's not just for Neal, it's for me as well. I have been dad. I probably taught her 1 or 2 things, but she taught me a lot more. She kept me up to date, she kept me young, and she told me in many ways that I should not have the last word. 18 years you have been together. This is more than many marriages, and you still love each other. I think all of you might have seen the love today in the church when they took their vows. Nobody can miss that. And I think that tells us probably that we are only embarking on the beginning of a wonderful life. The 18 years will probably pale into insignificance. I certainly wish my little girl and her new man all the best for the rest of their lives. And I welcome in my family Mrs. Sophia Lattimore. As for losing a daughter, this will never happen. But as for gaining a son, Mr. Lattimore has been in my life for 18 years. And I have loved him like my son. I promised I will not cry, but I am silly like that. Hold it together. Anyway, I don't think I need to say much more than that. Thanks to the God Ra, who came and graced us with the sunshine today. Thanks to you all. Thanks to everybody my daughter thanked. And I wish you all the best.
Now it's time for desserts. They're really good.
Hello. I'm not quite sure how to follow up these pair because my speech is significantly worse than that. It's written on a screwed up bit of paper and I finished it last night. Sam ad-libbed his and Soph's was extremely nice, so we'll give it a try and see how we get on. obviously, we'll see how my speech goes. If it's as good as my performance at the altar, it probably won't be very good. But yeah, I didn't used to cry very much. I think it was a Lattimore thing, and then when I met Sam, I'd just cry all the time. So I blame you for that, Sam. So we'll try and pack 18 years into one speech, but here goes. So I've actually treated this wedding kind of like school homework. I knew the deadline was coming, but I thought I still had plenty of time. Apparently, I didn't realise weddings took years of preparation. Sophia would probably describe me as laid back. In fact, she's often said I'm that laid back I'm almost horizontal. Luckily for me, she's the most organised person that I know, which is why you're all here today. If it was down to me, we would be sat on the lawn. The groomsmen would be in their suits, because I sorted those. But there wouldn't be any marquee, there'd be no food, no decorations, no ceremony, no boat trip, no magician. In fact, you wouldn't all be here, because I probably wouldn't have sent the invites out in time. So this whole operation is down to Sophia's unreal planning, and I can't thank her enough for that. So anyway, my most important job in this speech is to give thanks, and there's so many thank yous I need to give out. Firstly, I want to thank you all for being here today. To make this day so special. I'm often reminded, mainly by my guy, Dave White, that I'm a tight arse. So if you've made it here today, you're certainly very special, so thank you. The biggest thank you I have to give is to my Auntie Julia and Uncle Alan for allowing us to set up this perfect venue in their back garden. This whole day wouldn't have been possible without them, and I know how much time and effort has gone into making this area as amazing as it is for us to have the perfect day. So first of all, I'd like everyone to raise a glass, please, to Julia and Alan. Thank you, thank you.
Elvis. Big Elvis.
Yeah.
30-minute sprints on there, yeah?
Secondly, there's a lot of people in this room who have travelled significant distances to be here. Yahya and Simfa have come over from Dubai, and so has Simon and Khadija, so thank you very much for being here, it means a lot. My Auntie Mandy and Uncle Paul have come over from Spain as well, so thank you guys for coming over. But the biggest shout out, where's the big dog? Big dog Jake, coming over from Australia to be here to celebrate it with us. We travelled to Brisbane for his wedding, and I believe he'd worked out that we're second cousins once removed, but you feel like a brother and part of the family, and thank you for your help over the last few days. Appreciate it.
We love you!
I'd also like to thank everyone that made the trip to Benidorm for my stag do. We had a very good weekend, but that's all the details you'll be hearing. Again, another shout out has to go to Sai Ellis, my good friend, who travelled over from Dubai to Benidorm by flying to Turkey, then to Madrid, then he got a train to Alicante and a taxi to Benidorm. So, unreal effort, so thank you, mate. Obviously, a big thank you to all my family as well for being here, and big thank you to my granddad as well. He's 89 years old, but he'll still drink you under the table. Right, this one's a bit more light-hearted, that's right. Quick note on the favours. If you haven't opened already, you can open them now. Me and Soph love Gavin and Stacey, so if you haven't watched Gavin and Stacey, this joke is absolutely lost on you. But on a Christmas special, Nessa gives celebrations as a gift, and we thought it'd be a hilarious idea to do the same. I think we'd had a few drinks at the time. We then started making them one day, and we looked at each other and we said, these are shit, aren't they? But we were way too deep by then. Has anybody got a Malteser? Yeah. Come on! Oh, Lou Bear, what have you got?
He swapped!
We stitched Lou Bear up with a bounty. We'll get Lou Bear. I was actually going to wrap up Borough as a tap, because if you've watched the next Christmas special, they get taps for Christmas, but I am a tight arse and I didn't want to spend £20 on a tap just for a joke, so we didn't bother. So yeah, so basically, once again, I'd like to thank you all for being here and making our day perfect. You all play a special part in our lives, so I'd like everyone to raise a glass to friends and family.
Woo! Friends and family.
Moving on to the in-laws. I couldn't have picked a better family to join. You've all made me so welcome for the last 18 years. You've taken me with you to travel the world, improved my appetite for exotic cuisines, and treated me like a son from the moment I came over. It really means a lot. Sam and Angela, thank you for raising such a strong, independent woman that I now call my wife, and thanks for everything you've done for me. There's strong rumours that I'm actually Angie's favourite out of the whole family, but we won't delve into that subject. I have a funny story about the engagement. I popped over to see Sam and Ange, which I wouldn't normally do because they live in the opposite direction. Ange answered the door and asked what I was doing over. I played it cool and said I was just swinging by. Little did they know I'd asked to come over to ask Sam for Soph's hand in marriage. I walked into the kitchen like a boss, speech all planned out, ring in my pocket, and then all of a sudden I couldn't speak. Started crying and it was game over from there. Ange thought we were breaking up until I finally got the words out. Don't worry, it's good news. So that went far from the original plan. Thank you to Stefan, my little brother, from playing football as the chubby kid in the garden to now being great friends. Also thank you to the Lawmans, who we love spending time with as well. Just need a minute on this one.
Come on, Niz. You got this.
Yes, Niz.
Come on, Niz.
Go on, Niz.
Easy.
Oh, God. Up the posh. I remember meeting Grandad Tazza and Grandma Audrey for the first time.
Come on, you got it. Easy.
Everywhere we go. Go on, Niz.
Fucking hell. And being greeted with a way up. Fucking this is shit. And I thought I'll be alright here. Can we all please raise a glass to the Abdullahs? Moving on to my groomsmen. Stefan, I've obviously already mentioned. Thank you for everything you've done for us. Thanks to Dave for being a best mate and lending me a hand when my little drill won't make a hole in a brick. Yeah. I know you've got my back whenever I need it, and you've been a brother all my life. Thanks to my best man, brother, and best friend Steve. Fucking this is some sort of... This is a stitch up. Nah. I know. You've literally been a big brother to me my whole life and always looked after me. The first person I call when I need anything and always come through. Why didn't I just crack loads of jokes in the fucking speech? Thank you to my sister and chief bridesmaid Faye. You've put up with a lot of shit from two big brothers over the years, and you've blossomed into a strong, caring, clever individual. And you're also very handy as a backup gym instructor. On to my parents. I don't know where to start. Thank you for everything you've done for me and helping me grow into the person I am today. I couldn't ask for anything more. I once read that the most valuable thing you can give is a good name, a name that people know we do things the right way. Fuck's sake. And treat people the right way, and I know that's how people think when they hear the name Lattimore, and I'm proud to add another Mrs. Lattimore to the family. One of my biggest worries growing up with Sophia was how the hell do I keep hold of this woman until I can afford to marry her? But I was always reassured by my parents being together since they were 16 and married for 39 years today. They happily obliged to share the same anniversary. We aspire to grow old together like you pair, but I'll try and be home little more than Dad is. Can we please raise a glass and wish my parents a happy anniversary?
Happy anniversary! Woo!
We're getting there.
Nearly there. Come on.
Fucking hell, Nez, I'm struggling, mate.
Keep your glasses in hand. There are obviously some people that can't be with us today. So I'd like everyone to take a moment to think about those people special to you, and we'll raise a glass to those watching over us. Cheers.
Cheers.
Just an excuse to drink more. Oh, this. I don't know if this is funny or bad, but let's roll with it. I've got a message here for Soph from Dave the cat. Our first child. Sadly, he can't be with us today because he's too busy chasing pussy. But he wishes us a perfect day and looks forward to some snuggles tomorrow. On to my wife. Where do I start? To my biggest supporter, my partner in crime, thank you for everything you do for me. I wouldn't be where I am today without you by my side. Thank you for being my rock in serious times and dancing ridiculously in the car without hesitation when a song comes on and I ask, how would you dance to this? On Monday the 10th of July, we celebrate 18 years together, and what a journey it's been. Australia, Dubai, America, all over Europe, Huntingdon, St Neots, Stamford. Skiing, snowboarding, skydiving, which she made me do, scuba diving. I'm looking forward to what the next 18 years will bring. So me and Soph first got together on Saturday the 3rd of July 2005 at Rock on the Meadows. Woo! Dave was very good friends with Sophia at the time and invited her to come over, but she needed somewhere to stay. Everyone knows that 7 High Street had an open door policy, so there was a bed available for her to crash. We kicked it off and the rest is history. On the way home that evening, we popped into my granddad's annual party up the pit, and Soph had pretty much met the whole family on the first day, although we weren't actually official yet. It wasn't until next week on the Saturday the 10th of July when we both had to get dropped off at Peterborough Cinema by our parents to our first date to watch War of the Worlds. Another word that Sophia would often describe me as is indecisive. I hadn't actually asked her to be my girlfriend yet, but I found out the next day we were actually a couple, and Soph has been making the decisions ever since. One amazing trip we had was over to New York for Soph's birthday. How old are you? 20, 21? I thought I had it down, but I wasn't quite sure. I hadn't collaborated my evidence. Soph's 21st birthday. She had a special taste for Tiffany jewellery growing up, so thanks Sam for that. So each year she'd get the cheapest item on the website that I could afford. We visited the Tiffany store and I brought her a ring which she still wears today. I got in the mood and I actually brought myself a ring, but I never actually wore it. Soph said I needed a wedding band for this marriage malark, and I thought, hang on, I've got one under the bed somewhere. I actually chose not to wear it, but I've got the exact same ring in like a graphite colour. So I've got a silver one now for my silver watch, and I've got a graphite one for my black watch. I'm set.
You've got to coordinate. You have to.
Soph informed me a few weeks back that we'd be doing our own vows. Not that writing a groom's speech was enough. She then agreed we'd share the same promises, and luckily for me, she once again had this under control and penned the amazing promises today from the ceremony. I had actually started the vows, but I didn't get very far. I vow to make you a decaf tea on request every evening when we are watching Married at First Sight Australia. I vow to listen intently to your daily debriefs, detailed. I vow to detach your socks from your leggings in the wash bin because you're incapable of doing so. That's about as far as I got. Nearly there, sports fans. Faye asked me some questions for a Mr. and Mrs. quiz for Soph's hen do. One question she asked was, what is your favourite moment of the relationship? Now, many things come to mind, but the moment we got engaged was the most favourite for me. This isn't down to the gesture of the action, this is down to marking years of amazing experiences and taking the final step of our journey as boyfriend and girlfriend to being husband and wife. That moment solidifies an amazing journey together, and I can't wait for the future ahead. Funny story about the engagement. We went on holiday to Dubai. It was February last year. Sam and Andrew were also there. It was Valentine's Day on the Monday, so I didn't want to do the proposal then. So I decided to book a fancy meal on the Thursday, but there was no chance I was doing it in public. All week I had the ring hidden and was eyeing up spots where I could do the question. I set my sights on the beachfront before we were going to head to this meal. That day, Sam and Ange came to our hotel and visited us for the day. At one moment, Soph and Ange had gone to the loo, and Sam came over to me and said, "Have you done it yet?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "You getting cold feet?" I was like, "No, I've got it under control. Don't worry." Anyway, the day progresses, time's getting tight for our cab for the meal. Soph then has a great idea. How about we go up to the view of the palm? Sam and Ange obliged, and I'm thinking, no way have we got time for that, but I couldn't say why. We went up, walked around. I'm just looking at my clock the whole time. And then Sam suggests coffee and cake because that's Sam's favourite thing of all time. And now I'm thinking, well, this is fucked. So, to cut a long story short, we get back to the hotel, rush to get ready to get our taxi. Soph's putting her makeup on, and I'm thinking, fuck it, this is the only time I've got. So I drop to one knee, mumble out the special words in the middle of the hotel room, but we had a fantastic evening to follow and celebrated the night after with everyone as well. But again, once again, my poor planning bit me in the arse. I'm not going to say, don't you all agree how beautiful my wife looks today, because she's the most beautiful person inside and out that I've ever met, and I see that every day. In the words of one of my favourite singers, Dermot Kennedy, carrying an old soul young mind, met the right woman at the right time. So much waiting ahead of us, one life could never be long enough. I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together having fun. Can we please raise a glass to the new Mrs. Lattimore?
Woo! We've waited a long time for that.
I'm now going to pass you over to the best man. I try and keep my head down most of the time, so I didn't think you'd have much ammo on me. But when you've spent so long together, I'm sure some stories will make the cut, but don't believe everything you hear. Thank you all once again, and have a lovely evening.
Yes, Nelia.
Can you stand there for the camera? Hello, 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 hello.
Come on, Stevie.
Come on, Jimmy, sort it out.
You got this. Woo!
Come on, Jimmy boy.
You'll have to bear with me a little bit. I finished this at 1:45 this morning. Like Neil, my planning is terrible. So yeah, you just have to bear with me a little bit. There was no one to run this through with other than the dog, and he wasn't interested. So this is actually the first time I've actually read this speech out to anybody. So here we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. For those who don't know me, I'm Steve, and I'm the best man. And for those of you who don't know, I'm also Neil's big twin brother.
Yay!
Obviously identical, as you can tell. We're both dashing. We've both got a great gym body. The only thing not identical is I've still got a fully intact hairline, whereas Neil's, you can judge for yourself.
Mean! That's mean!
It's all right, mate. It's in the family, don't worry about it.
Neil didn't have an easy decision in choosing his best man. First he called the most successful person he knows, and he said no. So then he called the smartest person he knew, and he also said no. Then he asked the best looking bloke he knew, and he also said no. Then he called me back again for the 4th time, and I said, Neil, you can't keep ringing me, so I'll have to do it. So what a fantastic venue we've got for this beautiful day. As everyone's already said, Julia and Alan have put on a, well, it's absolutely stunning here. So I think we should just raise a glass again to Julia and Alan.
Woo!
Big Al.
For me, the nice touch was the boat trip. I thought that was a really lovely touch. For those of the lads that are here, we do like a boat trip. One of the favourites was a trip to Malia in 2008. It was some sort of ropey booze cruise that we went on. Craig remembers it very fondly. Yeah, so at one point I thought they were going to start playing Riverside Motherfucker, but they didn't. It wasn't on the playlist, so yeah, we'll move swiftly on. So yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for making the effort to come along today to celebrate this wonderful wedding, especially after finding out it wasn't an open bar. Those that know Neal already would have known this. Neal is probably one of the tightest people in England.
You're...
I was half expecting to see donation plates at the end of the church on the way out, but I don't think Neal got round or had enough time to put them out. We also nearly didn't have a marquee. Neal said he'd sort it. He went on Facebook, found a cheap batch of 8-man tents going cheap after Glastonbury. He said they'd do. Soph had a different opinion. So on behalf of the bridesmaid and I'd like to thank Neal and Soph for including us all on this very special day. I know how much effort and preparation has gone into today, and I can assure you, Soph, Neal is having a lovely time. He's very grateful for all your efforts in arranging it all, so he could just supervise from afar. Also, doesn't the bridesmaid today look lovely? She was only chosen because she's the only female sibling from both sides of the family. So it was also, sort of like by default.
Default, yeah. I take it though.
But I have to say how great she looks because obviously she's got great genes. So.
Thanks, Steve.
I'd also like to say a special thanks to Mum and Dad and Sam and Ange for putting all the effort in, for making this an incredible day. So now on to Soph.
Woo!
I'm sure we can all agree how stunning she looks today.
Yeah. Woo!
And I'm sure you'll make a wonderful wife as you have a partner for Neal for the last 20 years. Give or take. You are now officially a Lattimore and my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Although you have been already for quite a long time. You bring out the best in Neal. I'm not sure what that is, but you do. But on a serious note, I'd love to welcome you to the family.
Yeah.
Now on to Neal himself. Growing up was difficult being Neal's older brother. He was always the popular figure, clever, whereas I just tagged along and just, was here for the crack really. Neal would get up, crack of dawn, shower, put about 3 ton of Brill cream in his hair, put his eye patch on.
Mate, there's nothing wrong with an eye patch. I had one of them.
His thick frame glasses, and off he went to school. He'd be out the house, up the hill, waiting for the school bus, and I'd still be getting out of bed. Neal has a habit of being good at sport. Most sports he puts his hand to, he's not too bad at. Well, other than shooting a shotgun. As most know, Neal was nearly blind. So when he's holding a shotgun, he holds it with his left hand, trying to shoot with his right eye. It's hilarious, but also dangerous. I remember the first time Soph stayed over. We'd been on Rock on the Meds, as Neal said before. As Neal said, 7 High Street had an open door policy. It was a revolving hotel, basically. Most people that are here today have probably stayed there at some point. Whether it was a night, a month, a year. Dave outstayed his welcome for quite a while. So David arranged for Soph to stay at Hotel Lattimore as she didn't have anywhere else. I'm not sure what Neal slipped into her drink that night. But it's safe to say Soph was hooked. I'm not sure what on, but she stuck around ever since.
Woo! And we're glad.
So Neal had a few part-time jobs to earn some money. He worked in a sports shop in Stamford, became a lifeguard, swimming instructor, but the one he excelled at was working as a waiter. One Friday evening, myself and Neal were working at Julian Allen's pub at Corby Glen. It was a busy evening and everyone was rushing around. It was hectic. Neal is starting to take some mains out to a table, and I was following him with some more. It's safe to say the lamb shank that he was carrying was a lot heavier than he thought. And instead of putting it on the table, he placed it on some bloke's lap. I think that was the last time Julia asked Neal to cover a shift. So Soph's unfortunately been subject to Neal's very poor choice of cars. A burnt orange Punto. He's had a dodgy Mini he bought off some bloke here.
It was the gold Punto.
Yeah, he's had all sorts of terrible cars. However, one day Neal was working at the swimming pool, and he came out after work, and someone had dented the door of his beloved Punto. He came home. He was absolutely fuming. someone had put a dent in the door of his car, and he was absolutely seething. So he comes in, Steve, what are we going to do? I was like, well, it's dented, you've got to pay someone to fix it. Obviously, Neil's tight as fuck, so that ain't going to happen. So he's like, can you have a look? Yeah, all right, yeah. So we take the door card off. I'm like, I don't think we can do anything with this, Neil. He's like, oh, all right, put it back together. So I put it back together. Neil, in rage, slams the door shut, and the dent pops out. I've never seen someone so happy in all their life and they didn't have to spend any money on fixing their car. So Neil decided uni life was for him. Off he went to Bedford, where he had a few close calls with Ray Nephew Rum. I've asked the barman to stock up. There's a free shot of Ray Nephew at the bar for anyone that wants one. Don't worry, Neil. It's not on your tab, all right? So Neil stayed at home at Collie for as long as he physically could. He milked Dad's numerous trips to Morrison's Drive. Oh, Dad, yeah, I could do with... Yeah, right, yeah, yeah. One day he asked Dad for some rice. Dad came home with 16 bags. Yeah. Soph one day said, Dad, Bode, can you get us a bottle of Prosecco? He came back with 12 bottles. Yeah. Just in case. So Soph had moved from home and was living with a friend in a flat, and Neil was still ringing Mum up to book his dentist appointment because he didn't want to call himself, because he wouldn't know what to say. Actually, Neil wouldn't even call up to order a takeaway until he was about 28. This is exactly, see? He's now 33 and he still can't do it. So finally, Soph and Neil decided to set up home in St Neots. They met some great neighbours that are here today, which are now close friends before moving back to the Shire. I know Neil is loving being back closer to the family, as he knows he only has to mention something he's thinking of doing. Before he gets a chance to finish the sentence, someone's offered to do it. Neil and DIY don't go hand in hand. I'd like to thank everyone that's travelled far and wide to be here. As I said before, Jake's made all the way from Brisbane, Mandy and Paul have come over from Spain, and a family of friends have come from Dubai to be here today. However, the rumour has it the Garda Civil are still on the lookout for Mandy, as they found out she was a Lattimore, and after the antics on the stag do in Benidorm, they've been following her every move. Benidorm has many fond memories for Neil from our childhood holidays, and he's now got several more from a very successful stag do. He's even got the bruises to prove it. We've had hundreds of laughs, great memories, and many holidays, and hopefully many more to come, not only as brothers, but with all our friends and family that are here today. Neil is not only a great person, he's a fantastic brother, uncle, and now husband. We're getting there. It's all Sam's fault. So if you couldn't have picked a better man, I'm sure he'll make the best husband he has as a partner.
This is hilarious.
Right, that's all from me. So, those who are at mine and Neil's wedding, not mine and Neil's wedding, mine and Soph's wedding, mine and Becky's wedding. Yeah, it's a few years ago now. So, when Neil was my best man, Neil did a rap.
Woo!
That probably some of you still remember.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really good, and I'm sure quite a few of you can vouch that I'm not a musician. I've dabbled. I played the drums, played the guitar a little bit.
Barely.
Yeah, triangle. Recorder, could play London's Burning, that was about it. So for me to do a rap, yeah, it was off the cards, to be fair. I'm sorry to let you all down, but yeah, it's not in my, it's just not going to happen.
Do a duet at face.
No pressure.
Yeah, okay. I'll stand at the side. Toby. So, those that know Neil quite personally will know that he's got a tattoo on his side. His tattoo says two of a kind because we're twins. So Neil had it done, and the plan was that we were both going to get it done. However, 10 years later, I still haven't got it. So we are two of a kind because we are twins. Neil shows it, and I'm here.
Tag along.
Yeah, one day. So, yeah, that's all from me. I think I've bumbled on enough and you've, had enough of me. So I'd like everyone to stand, raise a glass and raise a toast to Mr. and Mrs. Lattimore.
Yes, well done. Kick on.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That's all.
Backstreet. Shout.
Just smile and share.
Make sure that mic's charged up for Elvis.
So, yeah, we're done.
Time to kick on.